Mrs. M. A. Pigot, an English lady who came to see Maharishi, asked the question, what diet is prescribed for a sadhak, a person engaged in spiritual practices? To which Maharishi replied, sattvic food in limited quantities. She then queried, what is sattvic food? And Maharishi explained that it was such food as bread, fruits, vegetables, milk, etc. Mrs. Pigot commented, in the absence of our usual diet, our health suffers and the mind loses strength. In response, Maharishi asked her, what do you mean by strength of mind? The power to eliminate worldly attachments, she answered. Maharishi then explained that the quality of food influences the mind. The mind feeds on the food consumed. To this explanation, Mrs. Pigot exclaimed, really? How can Europeans adjust themselves to sattvic food only? At this point, Maharishi pointed to Mr. Evans Wentz in the hall and asked him, you have been taking our food. Do you feel uncomfortable on that account? Mr. Evans Wentz responded, no, because I'm accustomed to it. What about those not so accustomed? Mrs. Pigot asked. Ramana Maharishi responded, habit is only adjustment to the environment. It is the mind that matters. The fact is that the mind has been trained to think of certain foods as tasty and good. The food material is to be had both on the vegetarian and non-vegetarian diet equally well, but the mind desires such food as it is accustomed to and considers tasty. Mrs. Pigot now sought clarification as to why do you take milk but not eggs? The domesticated cows yield more milk than necessary for their calves, and they find it a pleasure to be relieved of the milk, answered Maharishi, to which she queried, but the hen cannot contain the eggs? Maharishi replied, but there are potential lives in them. Mrs. Pigot continued, why then the restrictions of food given for such? Maharishi replied, your present experience is due to the influence of the atmosphere you are in. Can you have it outside this atmosphere? The experience is spasmodic. Until it becomes permanent, practice is necessary. Restrictions of food are aids for such experience to be repeated. After one gets established in truth, the restrictions drop away naturally. Moreover, food influences the mind and it must be kept pure. A devotee inquired of Maharishi, are there any aids to concentration and casting off distractions? Ramana Maharishi answers that physically, the digestive and other organs should be kept free from irritation. He advises the following: regulating the food in both quantity and quality, eating non-irritating foods, avoiding chilies, excess of salt, onion, wine, opium, etc., avoiding constipation, drowsiness and excitement, and all foods which induce them, mentally taking interest in one thing and fixing the mind on it, such interest being all-absorbing to the exclusion of everything else. This is dispassion or vairagya and concentration. God or a mantra may be chosen for this purpose. He states that with this the mind gains the strength to grasp the subtle and merge into it.